Good afternoon, VV Nation. This is Glenn E. Tompkins Jr. Thank you for joining us here on YouTube Live for Trending Thursday. If you can hear me, I want to see VV Nation pop up in the screen. VV Nation, if you can hear me and see the screen. All right, so let's pump up the VV Nations coming up in here. If you're brand new, welcome. This is all about finding stocks that are making news in the market. We analyze the stories, we analyze the stocks in the VectorVest software to show the power behind the software, and that's what happens here. So, and at the end, I will give you an opportunity to do a quick fire of some of the stocks that you may currently own or are currently interested in. Another thing, if you're brand new here, I would love for you to subscribe to the channel. We have grown this channel by leaps and bounds in a short amount of time. If you like the content, by all means, please subscribe and hit the icon bell so that you can see when we have new content coming up. All right. Also, like and comment as well. If we get 400 likes today, Joey will come on cam. By the way, Joey is my producer. Say hi, Joey.
Hi, Joey.
There we go. Stop. Don't put in stocks yet. No. I will tell you when to put in stocks. If you put in stocks now, you're just going to flood the screen with stocks. I don't want to do that. No. Listen, Linda. Listen. I need you to put. Wow, Joey took my chat away just like that. Thank you, Joey. All right, with that. We do have a special guest. It is my pleasure to welcome this guest. I invited for sure. This was specifically for the ladies today. Our guest is going to be bringing some new YouTube content by way of VectorVest for something called Fantastic Female Fridays. Her name is Susan Hayes, and it is my pleasure to bring her on board today to talk about what she's going to do. It's going to be outstanding content, and I want you husbands to go get your wives involved, get your sisters involved, get your aunties involved. This is going to be possibly a life-changing process for a lot of women in the market. And Susan is someone who I've had the opportunity to help learn the VectorVest software. Just in case you don't know who she is an economist over in Ireland or over in Europe. She knows her stuff, folks. So this is not going to be a fly-by-night type of presentation. You're going to be in the hands of someone who is extremely capable about talking about how to invest in the market, but specifically for women to invest in the market and obstacles to overcome and how to utilize your talents, because yes, you have them. And she's going to help to bring them to the forefront. And when I say that she knows her stuff, I ain't just whistling Dixie, for real. So it's going to be a real treat for you to join her on that YouTube content. And without further ado, I'm going to bring her in. She's going to tell you what Fantastic Female Fridays is all about. So especially the ladies out there, but for you guys, just understand what's going on as well, too. So with that, welcome, Susan.
Thank you so much indeed, Glenn. And I have to say thank you to all of the people who have been sending in messages. I see some familiar people there, actually. And also I can see some people who I have met before from the summit. So thank you very much indeed for that. Right, Glenn, if I'm going to take it from the top, women invest differently to men. And that's simply a reality. And if we look at how women invest differently and better, well, then it's actually, we can look at it from the point of view of return, volatility and consistency. And there's a great report out called The Secrets of Women Investors that was put together by Kiplinger Personal Finance that anybody who wants to check out the credentials of what I've just said can do so. The thing is, though, is that unfortunately, women actually less often have stocks. They also tend to be at the lower end of the risk profile. And the other thing is, if we want to call a spade, often as well, women have less confidence when it comes to the markets. So I want to work on all of the above. So in essence, I believe that in order for women to be more comfortable in investing in the markets directly, I think they need, before we get into the solution, let's look at the problem. I think it comes from a couple of different places. Number one, they may not know how. Number two, some may not have the confidence. And number three is that they may not have the tools to make the decisions. And that is what Fantastic Female Fridays is all about. It's going to be where we're going to focus directly on each and every one of those. And I'm going to show lots of women out there. And by the way, guys are very welcome as well. I'm going to show you how to make those three things happen, how to build your knowledge, build your confidence, and also use the tools that are available to you. So in essence, my hope is for the show is that the people will become more knowledgeable, more confident, and aware of what's available to them. So just to tell you a little bit about me. So I started a financial training business back in 2010. And then I met VectorVest in February 2011 at the Traders Expo in New York. So since then, I became managing director of VectorVest Europe. And that's where some of you would have met me on the summit. And I have been in that role since 2011. So we have some great people here in Europe. Many of you may know Tom Van Nooyen, who's written the views, or you may know Danny, who gives some of our webcasts, and a range of other people. So over the years, I've also done another couple of things. I have written 4 books, but one of them was The Savvy Woman's Guide to Financial Freedom. And that's the first time that I started looking into how men and women invest differently. And then I've been really fortunate that I went on then to be able to speak with VectorVest at the Money Show in San Francisco, Orlando, and Toronto. And then I took on the highest, the gold standard of investment analysis exams that are the CFAs. They're the Chartered Financial Analyst exams. And then I got my charter in 2014. So separately to all that professional stuff, I am a wife to a gorgeous husband. And he was actually the person that really started off my interest in investing. But I'm also a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm a cousin, I'm a colleague, and I'm a friend. And I love to read, I love to experience new places, and I've been very fortunate to be able to do that a lot with VectorVest. And really and truly, investing intrigues me. And I have to give you one insight into just how much is my husband and I chose to go to Chicago on our honeymoon. And yes, of course, there's lots and lots of reasons to visit Chicago. But you know, the real reason we went there is because my husband, his name is Ardal, by the way, Ardal's friend got us to be able to go on a tour of the Chicago stock trading pit. That's the reason we chose it. So it's for that reason, as I say, we ended up there. And personally, I'm going to tell you a little bit about more about me as an investor later on. But I just wanted to tell you 3 stories. While I have the opportunity, because I know lots and lots of you are waiting with bated breath to hear what Glenn is going to have to say about Trending Thursdays. And also as well, I had an insight into what he's going to talk about today, and I think it's going to be great. So I'm just going to take you through, as I say, 3 stories that I want to tell you about. First one is I did not grow up in a household that bought stock. Over various different times when I was, you know, a 6-year-old girl, or, you know, becoming a teenager, sitting around the dinner table or anything else like that, we didn't talk about this stuff. I did not know what a stock was. I didn't know what a broker did. I didn't know where you actually bought a stock. I didn't know how you made money out of a stock. So I came not from a household that spoke about this stuff at all. However, I was always interested in business. So when I was in university, I studied financial maths and economics in Galway. Any of you that have been to Ireland, by the way, you all should go to Ireland at some stage. But I remember when I was in my university doing my degree, I joined the Business Society. And then in the middle of my second year, I was about 19, then the stock market training company came in to talk to us about investing. And that was actually the first time. That was the first time that I learned about investing. And I went on a 1-day course. And from there, I learned everything like that the stock market is really just a big supermarket with lots of products in there. But instead of buying them and eating them, we buy them and then with a view to selling them later on. I learned that actually getting into the stock market is a very simple thing to do. I learned what an exchange traded fund was. I learned what diversification was. So that's one of the key things I want to bring into the show is that, you know, nobody is born knowing this stuff, right? Now, Glenn Glenn is the type of guy where I think he was born with a trading platform literally in his hand as he entered into the world. He knows this, he breathes this. And I have to say, we can often feel when we're around people who know an awful lot about the markets that, like, is there something wrong with me that I don't know this? Everybody has to start from somewhere. And that's going to be the approach I'm going to take with Fantastic Female Fridays. We're going to start from the start. We're going to have advanced stuff. I'm going to show you how I invest. I'm going to show you lots of functionality of VectorVest. We're going to take also your worries, your concerns, your criticisms, your critiques. We're going to take all of those into consideration as well. I'm sure it won't surprise you if I then tell you that actually the day I met my husband was the day I did that course. So yeah, thankfully that was time was well invested. The second thing I want to tell you is the second story is after that I went off and started investing and, you know, made a lot of mistakes and made money out of it, etc. And then I discovered options. Wow. I thought options were just the best thing ever. Here is a way that you can buy and sell pieces of risk. And also where I could, particularly in the case of selling puts, I could take in premium. People were willing to pay me to do the things that I was happy to do anyway. So rather than just buying a stock, suddenly somebody was going to pay me to take on the stock that I wanted in the first place. And I thought, wow, this is cool. So I actually did my final year thesis on how options affect a stock market portfolio. However, the problem with everything I'm telling you is, as regarded options, is that it was all theoretical. I was reading it out of a book. I went on a course around covered calls and all this sort of thing. And I'm not joking you. I learned more about options the day I sold my very first one, and I'll never forget it. I sold a put. It was a $15 strike on PFE. Any of you that are familiar with Pfizer will know that that's the one. And it was, I would say at the time, around about 6 weeks of time value. And every single day when the markets opened. Now, I'm based in Ireland, as you can probably tell. Every day, the US markets opens 2:30 p.m. our time. And I would be sitting and watching it. And then some days it would go in the money and it would go out of the money. And then oh my God, how is this going to change? And some days I would expect the price to, if the price went up, I thought, well, obviously the dollar value of the premium would fall. Whereas, of course, if the volatility went up, that didn't happen. And I remember on that $15 strike, I took in $70 of premium. Eventually, the stock expired worthless. I kept my money and I went and I did it again. And that's the second key thing I want to share with you today is I'm sure many of you are investors, but I'm also sure some of you might like to talk about it and maybe are afraid to pull the trigger. And then there's some of you that I think may never want to touch the stock market. You probably enjoy Glenn. And sorry, I have to tell you, the thing that I love when he says is, holy smokes. I love when he does that. I have to say, it was probably the first thing he said to me the first time he met me. And by the way, he was one of the first people in VectorVest that trained me how to use the system. So yeah, I do enjoy the odd holy smokes from him, all right. But some people may not feel that you want to ever go into the markets, but you still want to be informed about them. And all I'll say to you is that the day that you buy or sell your first share or buy and sell your first option, it is the most value focused training course you'll ever give, because now you feel you've skin in the game. And that certainly was my case. And then the third thing I want to tell you is where I'm at now, right? So I started off telling you about where I was before the stock market and before understanding how it worked, then how it felt, or what that first experience was like when I sold my first option. But I just want to tell you where I am now. And that is, I'm very self-aware of the type of investor that I am, very self-aware. I know I like income through premia from selling options and also from income that I would get from dividends. I'm very, 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 very aware of that. I'm also, my favorite indicator in the VectorVest system is the VST indicator. And my second favorite is the CI, the comfort index. When I look at those graphs where they start at the bottom left and they just move in a delightful, almost straight line to the top right, a very, very high CI stock will do that. That's beautiful when it comes to either selling options on or taking positions in. So I'm very well aware that I like what the comfort index offered. It offers an ability to withstand severe and or lengthy price declines. That's the type of investor that I am. I know that I am somebody where I like to stagger my options. So this is where I might have one outstanding, as I do at the moment, let's say in July, in August, in September. I think I have one out as far as December of this year. I haven't gone into 2021 yet. So when I take all of that into consideration, the great thing about being self-aware is that when it comes to using Unisearch, it's so simple. I know exactly what I want. I don't like penny stocks. I really like a lot of volume. I like to make sure that there's an option in place if I can. And I can put all of that into Unisearch. And it makes it super simple. Super simple. And then after that, then I can go into Options Pro or previously the Options Analyzer to pick out the individual transactions that I'm looking for. But what I will say to any of you who are wondering about the best way to use VectorVest is, the first question I would ask you is, do you know what you want? Do you know whether you want dividends? Do you know whether you want a low PE ratio? Do you know whether you want a high CI? Do you know whether you want high RS? That's one of the strategies I'm going to be talking about in one of the earlier episodes of Fantastic Female Fridays is the birthday game. Super simple. The thing I would say is that when you really know yourself as an investor, when you know, in my case, I like income, I love using options, I like ETFs to get me into certain parts of the market that maybe I haven't enough analysis on, or just maybe if I can't get exposure into something, I know that I like looking for value-focused stocks. I know I'm uncomfortable with taking on stocks that have a high PE ratio, all of that sort of thing. But the point, and I'm going to finish on this, the point I'm making is that this didn't come overnight. This didn't come over a year or two. This comes over time. And maybe I'll change. Maybe the risk tolerance that I have, or maybe the characteristics of the stocks and options that I look for, maybe that'll change. But I'll tell you what definitely won't change is my hunger to always understand the way in which I want to invest, and then how I can make that correlate with what's going on in the markets right now, and what opportunities are out there, and how I can minimize my costs, and how I can ultimately make the best financial decisions. And that summarizes precisely what I want people to feel as they go through Fantastic Female Fridays. This is not a place where you need to feel that you need to know your stuff. And even all of the language that I've been using, you don't have to know any of that. I will teach you that from the beginning. I will teach you a PE ratio. I will teach you a dividend yield. I will teach you the CI. I will teach you RS. I will teach you the birthday game. You name it. It's okay. Whatever place you're starting from. Secondly, is I will build your confidence, because I'll show you how to build your confidence. And believe me, I'm just like you. As I say, I didn't come from a household that spoke about this. I needed to build my confidence, and one of the biggest things that did it was selling that very, very first option. So I'll show you how to build your confidence and take tentative steps into the markets, and then how to take leaps. And then finally, I'll teach you how to be self-aware, so that when it comes to using those tools like Unisearch as a case in point, I'll just show you then how you can make the most of them. And that's ultimately what Fantastic Female Fridays is all about. So I'm going to be live tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern time. We are having our first episode tomorrow. It's going to be all around how women invest differently to men. And in particular, it's also going to focus on how women can use and lever the advantages that they naturally have. You can sign up at vectorvest.com/FFF. Thank you, Glenn, for this opportunity. Enjoy Trending Thursday, and I'll see you all soon.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Susan. And I saw a couple of people in the room who were just being people. And I want you all to know that Susan brings a lot to the table. Whether you were saying that she was just talking, I don't care what, from that perspective, don't care. She came to this table to bring something to this table for the people who are willing to listen. And if you're willing to listen, I'm putting you in the hands of someone who's going to be the authority in helping you to make better decisions in the market. And I want the VV Nation to support that undertaking. I think that it's amazing in and of itself that she was willing to take the reins and run with this. And if someone said that, well, I think that sounds kind of sexist to say about women. What's the difference between women and men investing in the market? Thus the reason why you need to be there. There is a little bit of a difference. Susan will bring some of that to the table. So, instead of just saying, that this wasn't a typical trending Thursday. It was done on purpose. It was done on purpose. And now I see the people that are coming in and saying it sounds great. Absolutely, you need to get behind it. Bring, again, your sister, your aunt, your daughters. Bring all of them to the table to give them a better understanding of how to invest in the market. For anyone who thinks differently, there's a lot of women who are not investing in the market and they don't know how, and they have nobody to turn to help them to learn. Thus the reason why we have fantastic Female Fridays. So, with that being said, thank you for being my guest today. Thank you for bringing that out to let people know that there is a place for women to come to learn more about investing instead of being afraid to do so. So, again, thank you very much. My hat's off to you. VV Nation, back her up, folks. Back her up. Bring people. It's going to be amazing content that as a company we're bringing to the table. So with that, question came up, can you repeat how to register for Susan's talk? Susan, how again can they register for actually, you need to just like the channel and hit the icon and it should show up. Anything more you want to add to in regards to getting here?
Only other thing I'm just going to say there, Glenn, is vectorvest.com/FFF.
For fantastic Female
Fridays.
There you go. All right, with that, thank you very much, Susan, for being here. We're going to get on with our regularly scheduled programming, but it was well worth it to have you here to let them know what the content is going to be all about. So with that, thank you. Have a wonderful day. And
thanks, Len.
Holy smokes, you were amazing. How about that? You were amazing. And I thank you for being here.
Thanks so much, Len. Bye.
Right. Just to let you know, at some point in time, we will have her back to come through the whole presentation like Clayton did last week to get her insight on the stories as well. All right, so with that being said, thank you all for taking the opportunity to listen. And let's go start talking about what's going on in the market. From a perspective of Trending Thursday, we always start off with what's going on in the market and how to trade it. So this week is not going to be any different. We're going to get into the homepage of the VectorVest software. We can clearly see that currently right now the day is mixed. The Dow is slightly down, the NASDAQ slightly up, the S&P slightly down, the composite slightly up. Key word there, slightly all the way around. Now let me tell you something. The market, and I've been saying this on more than one occasion, the market is Fed-induced right now. The market is taking its lead from the stimulus that the Fed is putting into it. They are now buying individual corporate, AAA corporate bonds. That's huge. That's never been done before by a Fed as far as I know. And buying up bonds and they're buying our debt. There's a lot to keep us from trying to go into a recession. So we are still one of the best, if not the best economy across the globe. I think even better than China. And you're right. How about someone said, never fight the Fed. All right, never fight the Fed. The Fed is I liken the market. The market is running a race. And as the market is running the race, the market is getting tired. As the market is getting tired, the Fed is behind the market saying, come on, you can do it. Come on, take this drink of water. You can do it. The Fed is trying to push this tired market higher. Who's going to win out? The Fed? Or is the market showing us that we're really at a level where the market is toppy, and will we succumb to that? So just keep that in mind. Can you talk about US dollar versus the Canadian dollar? Cheryl, probably not. I won't do that in here. I probably won't cover that in here. All right. So with all of that being said, let's look at our indicators. Here's our color guard. A lot of yellow in the color guard today. Primary wave just turned back to up. First up day in the last 6 trading days. But if I'm looking at what's going on in the market, how do I trade the market? A lot of cautious. Primary wave was down with the exception of today. Even with the primary wave up today, we have a mixed market. The market is what the market is, and I think that a lot of people excuse me, a lot of people are putting more thought and more analysis into the market than what you need to have. The market is what the market is. The primary wave just turned up. The day is down. The market is tired. How do I know? The MTI is still at a level of 1.6. The market is still tired. The analogy I just gave you with the market running the race shows me that the market is tired. The underlying trend of the market has been up, so we've been in a down, up, down, up, down, up, today, up, up, but a mixed market. And keeping all of that in mind, if you're still investing in the market, whether you're long or short, it's tough to try to hold stocks overnight. Buy your stocks, sell your stocks, but let your stops manage the trade. And if your stops keep you in going into the overnight, then you stay with them. But a lot of the money that's going to be made in the market is primarily on trades more so than the long term. Unless you've got a way long-term position that's still going up. I'm in the stock Clorox. Clorox is a good stock for coronavirus. It's been up about 20%, slowly but surely going up, not blowing the doors off the market, but slowly but surely going up. There are stocks out there that are like that. And if you go to our retirement portfolio or retirement searches within the software, you'll find those stocks that are continually going up. And today we're going to talk about FANG stocks as well. All right, so let's talk about why the market looks the way that it does. We're going to get to the first story. We know that the Fed, am I like really big on the screen, Joey? Joey's got to adjust that. Man, Joey, you got one job. One job. And you know what's going to happen, Joey? That's what's going to happen.
Anyway, I need a nap anyway.
You need a nap anyway. All right. So you know the Fed's job is to look after the economy, and in looking after the economy, they're looking at jobs, they're looking at interest rates. That's primarily what the Fed's job is. Powell says economic gains are at risk if stimulus measures end prematurely. So what does that mean? Congress could be putting together another stimulus package for the people again. Keep in mind, we've spent a lot of money on stimulus. All right. And at this particular point in time, without getting into politics, the printing presses are on full tilt. They are just printing out the yin yang. And even the Fed chief is saying that it looks like Congress needs to put more stimulus into play. We're not even thinking about raising rates, and that's awesome. You know, rates are in between right now between 0.25%, and there's no reason for them to think about raising rates. Inflation is right where it needs to be, but they're going to keep rates low to keep the economy buoyed. Now, on the other hand, Powell says despite signs of stabilization, risks of long-term economic damage are significant. Fed also came out last week and said that the recovery is going to take longer than anticipated. Put those two stories together about the Fed, the recovery is going to be longer than expected, and we may need more stimulus. That's a lot of money being put into the hands of people, which I'm all for. But at some point in time, as you give this money out and you spend stimulus, you got to pay that all back at some point in time, right? Yeah, we do. There's a lot of money out there. So I'll leave it right there. Long-term effects could be devastating the longer it takes, but he's also saying we need to put more stimulus out there. And another story about retail sales rose record to 18% in May. Well, think about that. People were itching to get out of the house, weren't they? And even though they were buying stuff online, it's nothing like being able to go buy stuff for real, for real. Is for real good? For real is good. All right, buying stuff for real. And it makes sense. Sales rose following record declines during coronavirus lockdown. People couldn't go out. Now they're going out to the stores. I've also gone out to dinner with my wife now, and restaurants are exercising social distancing, closing off every other table. But people are just wanting to get out of the house and want to see people again. So it makes sense that U.S. retail sales rose a record 18% in May. But these are my stories about what's going on in the economy. And let's take that into the VectorVest software. Oh, did I do that wrong? What did I do? All right, let's go put that back to where it was there. All right, and let me do it this way. Yeah. Let's go to the market timing graph. Actually, I don't want to go to market timing graph either. I want to go to our watch list of stocks. There we go. Let's go to the watch list viewer. Go to trending Thursday. What's today's date, Joey? 6/18. There's our watch list for today. All right, we're only looking at about, I think, 13 stocks, 12 stocks today. But the first two that I look at specifically for the market are the VVC, for those people who are VectorVest subscribers. And for those of you who are not subscribers, we also look at the spiders or the SPY. And we're going to go look at them both on a graph. Let's right click. Let's view the stock graph. From the stock graph, we can see what's going on. The VVC tracks the movement of over 8,200 stocks in one ticker symbol. So I'm going to put this on a 3-month graph. This is the market, folks. And last week when the market did fall, it fell below my level of a 20-day exponential moving average, which I use for the purposes of swing trading. And then very quickly found a bottom or found a level of support, bounced back up. The last 3 days, the market is moving a tad bit sideways. Well, why is the market moving sideways? Because the MTI, which is not on this graph, let's add a parameter, capital appreciation. I'm on the VVC, on the VectorVest composite. I'm not on the market timing graph. But the MTI or the market timing graph definitely tells us the market is still at a point where we're toppy, where we're overbought. Put those two things together, this is the race. The market's trying to run the race, and right now is saying, I don't know, I'm tired. So what do you do right now? You invest cautiously. All that yellow in the color guard that you saw on the home page says be cautious right now. That is our traffic light into the market. Slow down. If you're trading, make sure you take your profits quickly. Do not be afraid to take profits off the table, because just as quickly as a day could go up, as quickly as a day could go down. As quickly as the days can go up, as quickly as the days can go down, down, just that quick. This is a time of either wait and see or take advantage of a trade, but for a short term. Don't be afraid to take the profit off the table. That's on the VectorVest composite, which looks at about 8,200 stocks, compared to the S&P 500, which looks at 500 stocks. A lot of the same characteristics. Last week it fell below the level of the 20-day exponential moving average, found a level of support, bounced, and is currently, like we saw in the VectorVest composite over the last 3 days, trading above it. But notice how the SPY is not moving sideways. It's pulling further down from that candle. I can't call that. I can call it an inverted hammer, possibly call it a hanging man. It could be a possible reversal, but I'm not going to call that an uptrend coming off of just 2 days. Nonetheless, it could be a reversal pattern. We are getting closer to the 20-day exponential moving average on the SPY, whereas we're not doing that with the VectorVest composite. We are moving sideways. But the VectorVest composite does track a whole lot more stocks than just 500. All right, that's my first story talking about the market. Joey, do you have any questions for me?
Let me get the right mouse here.
Wow.
Leonardo had a question.
Glenn told us that Sam Boston Adams is a good buy for the summer, but stock is moving sideways. When a stock moves sideways, what is the best indicator to predict the upcoming trend? One thing I will never do is predict anything, Leonardo. So what do? You watch it. What do I do every time we look at a stock to get into? Same thing I'm doing with the market. Look at a stock. Look at the graph. So if I look at Samuel Adams, if the stock is moving higher, what am I looking for? If I'm in the stock, I'm okay. It's above the 20-day exponential moving average. I'll leave it alone. If I'm looking to get into it, well, it's above the average. Earnings is rising. RT is above 1. What am I looking for? I'm looking for an entry. Well, entry where? I could go above that level of resistance right here, which would be horizontal line, which would be a price of 563, or wait till it takes out the high, which is sitting at a level of 587. Either one of those points. If I get in at that level of the most recent swing high, I can ride that up as a profit target up to that level of the high. All right, so, and Leonardo, I already answered that question for you. I already answered that, and that's the second question that you gave me that I answered for you twice. Go back, I already answered that question. Joey's not answering them. I am, Leonardo, so, but I already answered that question for you. Any other, that was it. All right, let's close out of that graph. Let's close out of that graph, and let's go to my next story. Next story deals with coronavirus. We all know that we've been tracking a coronavirus stock, but this is breaking news. UK, so not the United States, UK approves the use of a life-saving coronavirus drug, dexamethasone. Why are you laughing? What? Why are you laughing? All right, I gotta sound it out.
You got it.
Dexamethasone, in the biggest breakthrough yet, it cost 5 Libra, is that it, per patient? I don't know if that's expensive or not. But the UK is coming out with a possible drug, a vaccine already. A trial led by Oxford University found that the low dose, and it's a steroid, I'm hearing that word come up a lot in regards to a vaccine for coronavirus treatment, dexamethasone, cut the risk of death by 1/3 for patients on ventilators and by 1/5 on those with oxygen, according to results published earlier today.
Antoinette Lloyd, MD, said you said it right.
Oh, MD. Wow, really? I said it right. Woo! All right, you know what that means?
Maybe a little clap.
A little clap would have been better? All right. The treatment will now be used on the I can say that word, but can't say 3 letters. NHS as a standard care for COVID-19 patients, and the UK's chief scientific advisor, Sir Patrick Valiant, said the drug could immediately be used across the world. So this is breaking news. Now, I don't have a stock for this. I don't have a stock symbol for this, but I'm just bringing it to the forefront that there is a drug possibly in the UK set to start going after coronavirus. That's in the UK. In the US, my favorite stock, Moderna moves forward with phase 3 study of COVID-19. I told you that Moderna was probably going to be one of the first stocks to come up with a vaccine. They have been aggressively moving through this space. The company has finalized its phase 3 study protocol, and the trial of MRNA 1273 on about 30,000 subjects is expected to begin next month. The primary endpoint of the randomized placebo-controlled trial will be prevention of symptomatic COVID-19 disease. Collaborating with Lonza, Moderna mRNA remains on track to be able to deliver about 500 million doses per year and maybe up to 1 billion doses per year beginning in 2021. Now, they were down on the day that we did this story, which was June 11th, which was last week. All right, shares have moved into the green, up 2.4% pre-market. So the stock for the UK, that is a UK stock. And I'm wondering if I could find that company on the UK database in VectorVest. But Moderna is primarily the stock that we use, and I'm a big fan of it in the US. Let's analyze it real quick. Stock trading at 64, value at 441. This stock is way overvalued. Why? People are willing to pay a premium to own this stock. If Moderna is going to be one of the first stocks that is going to come out with a vaccine, man, this is going to drive the stock's price higher. More and more people are jumping on board with the price of the stock, pushing the stock greatly above its value. Now, the fundamentals behind it. RV, no good. Relative safety, no good. What's moving the stock right now is that it's moving higher. RT is at a nice level of 1.55. They're not making money. They're not making money. This is more of a longer-term trade. Now, when I say longer-term trade, if we go look at the graph, let's view the stock graph of Moderna. Moderna, for the most part, it's moved up. It took a big hit, but look at that rebound coming off of that hammer. Look at that run up back above the 20-day exponential moving average. Earnings is getting better. Still negative, but over the last, what is this? What am I looking at? Over the last 1 year, let's put this on a 3-month graph. Man, Joey, you got all this stuff on my desk. Over the last 3 months, stop talking to me right now, Joey. Stop talking. Look at the last 3 months. The earnings are gotten much better. RT still above 1. When the stock got hit, RT got hit, but look at the rebound on RT. Stock's above the value of the 20-day exponential moving average. Open candle, but look for the last few days moving sideways. I'm okay with that as long as it's above the 20-day exponential moving average. Moderna is a drug company of choice that I'm very still excited about. Let's go look at our coronavirus watch list. Let's see where Moderna sits with the stock list sorted by VST. There it is. It's in the top 20 or so. REGN has got the better combination of value, safety, and timing. If you're looking for longer-term stocks to hold in this space, sort this list by relative value. So here's our coronavirus watch list. Look at the stocks that have the high relative value. Those are the gooder. Those are the better long-term holds in this space. If I'm looking for the safest coronavirus stocks, sort the list by relative safety. Notice that REGN was on both lists at the top of RV and RS, now sorted by RT. Regen moves out of the top, but still in the top 20. AEMD is the fastest moving by RT. So you can use this coronavirus watch list in many different ways to find out if you're looking for stocks to hold long term. This list of 42 stocks can be sorted by relative value. If you're looking for the ones who consistently and predictably meet or exceed earnings, sorted by relative safety. And if you're in tune with one of the which ones are running the fastest, look at RT. This could be a powerful ally in these days of coronavirus, whether the market's moving up or down. You can find what stocks are moving. And if I'm trading these as a day trade, sort the list by percent price change, and I can always every day find out which one of these stocks are moving up for the day and day trade. I can day trade this list. I can look for safety stocks in this list. I can look for long-term stocks in this list. There's nothing that I can't do as far as the flexibility of the software affords me. All right, any questions, Joey?
A couple here.
Okay.
I probably think you know this, but when do you think that MRNA execs will sell their shares again and will drop the price?
I don't know. Will MRNA execs sell their stocks and drop the price? I don't know. Only way that I can do that in my brokerage account, I can see what insider trading is doing. Other than that, I do not know. I don't have an indicator that tells me that. But I think if the stock keeps making money, maybe the executives are going to take some of that money off the table. Remember, they got options. And maybe they take some of that money off the table and, for in their own pockets. But that's as far as I can go with that.
What search are you using?
The question is, what search are we using? We are not using a search. This is a watch list. Now, I created one for Trending Thursday, but everyone has access to a coronavirus watch list. If you go to special watch lists, you'll notice that the coronavirus stocks are there. Now, I created my own because this is a VectorVest watch list that you cannot add new stocks to. There's 36 static stocks in here. All right. If I wanted to add stocks to this watch list, I create my own and then add my own stocks. But it's not a search. They are a watch list. So that's where everybody in this room can go look. If you have the software, I created our own for Trending Thursday right here. And because I created my own, I can add my own stocks. Any other questions, Joey?
Antoinette Lloyd.
Yes, MD.
Can you explain how to execute a stop buy?
Can you execute how to buy a stop buy? All right, let me do this real quick. Let's say I'm looking to get into REGN. I view the stock graph. All right, where would I put my buy stop? My buy stop would be, let's go put this on an intraday graph. All right, if I'm trying to get into it today, I'm going to go to 5-minute bars. If I'm trying to do this today, I got pre-market hours on. I want to make sure that I'm buying into a rising stock. Well, the question is, right now, is it rising? No. Let's make pretend that it was. All right, it was above the 20-day exponential moving average and moving higher. My buy stop would be from the most recent swing high. So what was the high on this point? 601.97. So I would put my order into my broker as a buy stop 12 cents higher than the high, which would be 602 and some change. I am not doing the math of 12 cents. All right, so that's how you put a buy stop. You want to buy it higher than a swing or prior high. That makes sure that you're buying into a rising stock. That's how you execute a buy stop. The stop part of it says that it will not trigger until it hits your price above the high. That's the purpose of it. All right? Any other questions, Joey? Is that Glenn, where I can see the VectorVest software with the MACD is overtakes the. In order to get to the software, Leonardo, Joey probably put a link, or Badger, put a link in the room for the trial. Either Joey or Badger will put the link into the chat box for the trial. Click on that link. And Leonardo, when you ask a question, give us an opportunity to answer it before you type it in 50, 11,000 trillion billion times. I'll answer your question. All right, so just understand there's a link where you can take a risk-free 30-day trial, and that's where you'll get what's going on in the software. All right. Antoinette Lloyd, MD. I'm loving that. MD, and I said the name right. I feel great that I said the name right. Took a law. I didn't get lucky. Why are you such a hater? You know what? That's you being a hater. And Miss Antoinette Doctor said I was already, stop being a hater. That's all I got to say about that. Dr. Lloyd thinks that I was smart enough to say it, and you just can't, you can't congratulate. All you want to do is hate. That's all you want to do is hate. I'm going to get to that, Bupin. Don't put stocks yet. I told you I'm going to give you an opportunity to look at stocks. I told you that I would. I'm not going to back out on my word. I'm not going to back out on my word. You're welcome, Edward. You're welcome. All right, take that away from me, because if not, I'm not going to. And if anybody in the room wants to help Leonardo as well, it looks like he's a brand new person, help me out to help him out. If he's got questions that you guys can answer, help him out. All right, VV Nation, come help me out, help him out. All right, so hopefully that answers your question about the buy stop. I'm ready to go to my next story, Joey.
Yes.
All right, let me get back to my watch list of stocks right there. Bingo. All right, let's go to the next story. Oh, this is the ire of many people in the room, oil, and how Glenn has been trying to tell you to handle oil. All right, and I'm not going to do it this week, but we all know what makes oil go higher. It's demand. See the story here? U.S. crude stockpiles rose 1.2 million barrels. We have an influx of oil. We have an oversupply of oil, and that's what's going to keep oil from rising higher. Now, prior to that, why was oil on the run? Because oil had fallen to historical lows as far as the futures, and people snatched it up. Now, people are still sitting in oil. Right now, oil's not doing much of anything. All right, so it's a chance that you took by buying it at such a low level. And yes, I think that oil is going to come back, because once we get through supply, the demand is going to go up. And, you know, if the oil producing countries continue to cut back on oil, it's going to be harder to get. And guess what? It's going to cost more to buy. So oil is not going away forever. I'm still thinking that right now is not the right time to buy oil, unless you're a little bit more aggressive and you're still trying to take advantage of that low price. But guess what? You missed out. All right, you did miss out. And never once did I tell anybody not to buy oil. I said that I personally wouldn't be buying oil based upon what I saw. We got an oversupply of oil. That's not what drives oil prices higher. Demand is it. But wait a minute. There's another side to this story. If I look at OPEC, OPEC sees a gradual oil demand recovery, makes 84% of the cuts in May. They made historic cuts in output of oil. Still hasn't caught up yet, because we still have a supply glut. So because of that, we still hasn't hit as far as making the demand, but they have already put into place the cuts. 84% of cuts were made in May. That's a lot of oil production cuts. Hasn't caught up yet, but going forward, oil is going to come back. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. OPEC forecasts on Wednesday a gradual, see the word there? Gradual recovery in global demand for oil, which has been hammered by the coronavirus, and said record supply cuts by producers were already helping to rebalance the market. Well, it's not helping us yet. We still got an oversupply of oil. In a monthly report, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, that's OPEC, said demand would decline by 6.4 million barrels per day in the second half of 2020. We're just starting to really get the effects of the major cuts in production. It's going to catch up. Yes, it will. Now, keeping all of that in mind, let's get back to the watch list. I look at one specific stock for oil, which is WTI. As I look at it, stock is grossly overvalued. Nothing good about it. Upside potential, not good. Relative safety, not good. Stock's not in an uptrend, growing their earnings at a negative clip. Let's go take a look at the stock on a graph. This is the story of oil. This is the W&T offshore, West Texas offshore. Look at that run coming off of the, what was it? Was it the March or April contracts that were like negative? I think it was either the March or April contracts. People sucked it up, bought it up. The demand is not there. Look at this sideways move on oil. Then it moved up again and said, yay, wee! And then the demand is not there. Look at it. Currently below the 20-day exponential moving average. Let's go put this on a 3-month graph. Currently below the 20-day exponential moving average. Not only that, RT is now below 1. The stock or oil is in a downtrend. It's not the right time to buy it right now. Earnings is going down. Why is it getting affected by the coronavirus? Remember, earnings is the engine that drives the stock's price higher. Guess what? It's going down, helping to drive the stock's price lower, and RT is below 1. Not the right time to be in oil. So let's do this. I do have a petroleum watch list here. Let's go take a look at the petroleum stocks. How many stocks are in here? 64 stocks. Now, are there any petroleum stocks that are moving? Yes. Within this watch list of stocks, you can find those. But if I look at the fundamentals on the watch list as a whole, upside potential not there, relative safety not there. A lot of stocks in here are having RTs above 1. They are driving the RT higher as a group. So if I want to say, well, I know oil as a whole is moving down, but if I want to look at some oil plays, possibly, maybe I look at the ones that have RTs above 1. Oh man, really? That just happened? RTs above 1, right click, view the stock graph. Let's go see if there's any oil plays that you would want. Let's put this on a 3-month graph. Now RTs on these are above 1. What's this stock doing? Move what? This? Yes. All right. What's the stock doing? Even with RT above 1, moving sideways. RT above 1, moving sideways. RT above 1, slightly moving higher. So HEP might be one to keep your eyes on. All right, what else is in here? Yeah, BPMP, moving sideways and below the 20-day exponential moving average. DKL, 27, that stayed interesting how this stock stayed above that 20-day exponential moving average. So think about it this way. If you are looking for oil stocks to take advantage of, that watch list that I'm showing you right now can find some plays, but a lot of them are exhibiting the same characteristics of either slightward down or sideways moves. Some of them are moving up. Take advantage of those, but the industry as a whole is, actually, hold on. Let me look at the watch list average. There it is. That's the watch list average of all 64 stocks. Look at that. Are you ready to pull the trigger on oil right now? Think about that. Look at where it is. Look at RT falling. Look at earnings falling on the whole watch list. So there you go. That's still my take. Until demand kicks over, we're going to have an issue with price moving higher for real reasons. All right, Joey, any questions?
Cheryl has a comment. Says looks like better fishing elsewhere.
As far as better fishing elsewhere instead of in the oil field, I'm with you 100% on that, 100%. But oil is still a big story. Glenn, you saved me. You told me demand was not there. I sold with a 20% profit before dropping. Thank you for the heads up. Listen, this is the reason why you're here for Trending Thursday. All right, Joey's, do you have a boo button for Glenn's puns? There you go. My puns are awesome. So you know what my pun... That's what I think about my puns. All right. Thank you for answering, B. Rudnick, for helping out with Leonardo. I appreciate that. That helps me out a little bit. All right. Let's get into the next story. We're moving right along. Look at that.
It's only 3 o'clock.
Oh, shut up, Joey. Stop being a pain. All right.
Hater anymore? Now I'm a pain.
Now you're a
I'll
pain.
be a pain hater.
You're a pain hater. All right, next one I want to get into. How many people, bring the chat over for me for a second. How many people are investing in FANG stocks? Type a me in the room. How many people invest in FANG stocks? Put a me in the room. All right, and I think that this was a good time to look at what FANG stocks are doing. All right, and this story says that Facebook is the best FANG stock to invest in today. All right, let's dive into that story. Charles, the QQQ is not a FANG stock. The QQQ is not a FANG stock. Really, Seth? Wow. All right, take that away. Take that away. All right, let's talk about this story. Facebook, the best FANG stock to invest in. All right, that's all I'm going to say about that. Let's go into my watch list. I made a list of all of the FANG stocks, starting with Facebook, Apple, Netflix, Google, Amazon. You notice something? My FANG stocks sorted by VST are what? The top stocks in this watch list. You think that's by design? You think that's by accident? No, it's not. Start off with Facebook, undervalued. Apple, fairly valued. Looking at Netflix, overvalued. Looking at Alphabet, undervalued. Looking at Amazon, overvalued. Notice that every one of them, with the exception of Amazon, has good upside potential. Notice that every one of them have relative safeties above 1. Notice that every stock has a RT above 1. So someone asked me about finding longer-term stocks. This might be a good list for you. How about they all grow their earnings at a rate, double-digit earnings rates every year, and they all have positive earnings? Let's do this. Let's take a look at them. Let's go view the stock graph. Let's put this up. I'm going to put this on a 1-year graph. Overall, over the last year, Facebook has gone up. What's that? COVID-19. After the March 23rd low, look what Facebook did. Very resilient, kept moving up, right? Look at the earnings, steadying it out. RT above 1. What's the next one? Wow, look at Apple. I love Apple, but not in love with Apple, but look at that. Prior to COVID-19, Apple was a steady Eddie. After COVID-19 bottom, look at that, even a steadier eddier. You know what this looks like? This looks like an airplane taking off. Look at that stock. Looking for a longer term stock, look at the earnings. You can't go wrong with Apple. And when this happens with Apple, learning to trade options, sell a covered call. That would have helped you go to absorb a lot of that downturn. Sell a put. Sell a protective put. There's several ways that you could have played this stock. Apple looks so far really, really good. Here's Netflix, a little bit more choppy, but overall still moving from the, actually almost from the bottom left to the top right. A little bit more choppy on Netflix going into prior to COVID-19. Look at the nice move. Choppyosity in a channel, breaking out of that channel now. What's the next one? Google, beautiful before COVID-19, nice recovery after COVID-19, earnings still looks good, RT is moving higher, watch it, RT is starting to trend lower as well. And the last stock, Amazon, pretty flat going into COVID-19, but nice recovery coming off of that. So the story says that Facebook was the one to buy. If you're looking at that list, bring the chat over to me. If you were looking at the list, we saw those FANG stocks. Would you agree with that story? Or what stock out of that list do you think was the better buy than Facebook? Anybody? Type it in the room. What stock looked to be the better stock than Facebook? All right, type it in the room. Anybody? Anybody? I know there's a delay. No, it wasn't Facebook. Apple. Shopify is not even in there. Shopify is not in there. All right, it was Apple. What does FANG stand for? The stocks that are in it. Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google. Take the first, this almost says FANG, but it's FANGA. It is the first letters of those companies. That's what makes a FANG stock. Some people are saying Amazon. Let me see what y'all saw that I didn't see. I put this on a 1-year graph. There was the Facebook stock. There's the Apple stock. I can't see how anybody in this room would think that Apple was not. Look at that. Netflix, Not nearly as strong. Look at the Apple was really strong coming into this graph. Google might not be a bad answer. Google may not be a bad answer. It looks a lot like Apple, and Amazon was not it. So I would think that either Google or Apple were the better plays, even better than Facebook, as the story said. All right. Any questions? I'm going to look. Any questions? Apple will go down very soon together with the rest of the market. Unemployment sky high. Well, you know something? When Apple, let me show you something in regards to Apple. How about I use the VectorVest software to help me with that? What's the first thing I'm looking for in regards to seeing if the stock is in a downtrend or not? How about I got a level of resistance, right? A level of support. If it breaks through that level of support, it breaks below that 20-day exponential moving average, that's a good time for me to know when to get out. All right, so I was wondering if all FANG stocks are over 70. Is it still... Stop being stuck on the RSI thing. And if you look at the graph, If RSI is over 70, Leonardo, what does that tell you? That the stock is overbought, right? So just use that information. I'm gonna deter from your questions, Leonardo, because you're asking them more than once. So I'm gonna shut that down. I'm pretty much gonna shut that down. All right. So look at what's going on with the stock. Look at the graph. I am all about looking at a graph to make sure that you know what's going on. And Maria is right. It does pay a dividend as well. Is OKE something to invest for short term? Joseph, I'm not ready to look at stocks yet. And you guys are still typing in stocks. Joey, take that away. Can I just minimize it? All right. So those are the questions that I'm not ready for stocks. Even if you type them in, I'm not looking at them yet. My suggestion would be to wait because Joey's going to look at which stocks to pick. So you keep putting them in, I'm not looking at them. Not yet. Just give me time, I'll get there. Last story I want to get into today is my stocks of interest. All right, where's that at? Last story. First one. How many of you still stuck in Hertz? How many? I don't know which one it is. Is it this one? No, is it this one? How many of you got into Hertz and you're in it? How many of you got into Hertz and you're in it? Anybody? All right. A lot of people took advantage of Hertz because it was low. The company was in bankruptcy. SEC told bankrupt Hertz it has issues with its plan to sell stock. Chairman Jay Clayton says. All right, Hertz, and there it is. Jay let me know that Hertz definitely hurt a bunch. This was a tough stock to get into. I was not a big fan of buying it, knowing that the stock was in bankruptcy. That's really tough to buy stock, but it was moving. Enough people were moving it. A lot of Robinhood people were in it, and guess what? A lot of them are now stuck in it. It's almost like being Elfin. Jay was Elfin. Hopefully this doesn't become Hertzfin. Hopefully Hertz doesn't become Hertzfin. But this caught my attention as one of my stocks of interest because I know that a lot of people are in this stock and they're going to get adversely hurt about it. I know Jay's typing ouch in the room because he got Elfin. So, and this is what happens when you had Elfin. Yep, that's what happened, right? That's exactly. And what else happened? You took a deep breath and you went. Nobody expected Elfin to do that. And then they dropped the bomb on him. There you go. So I'm loving these sounds. Thank you, Joey. Loving these sounds. And just in case, because I love you, Jay. There you go. I love you, Jay. All right. With that, what other story caught my attention? Target is now paying $15 an hour. $15 an hour. That's huge. All right. I'm looking at, I go to Walmart now. Walmart is one of my favorite stores. Don't know why. But I'm noticing that a lot of self-checkout counters are there now. So they don't have to put nearly as many people on the schedule to man the counters. Not that they did when they had to, but now there's a lot of self-checkout. I'm thinking that a lot of stores are going to do that. A lot of stores are going to be putting in these self-checkout lanes. It's going to take a lot of people off the payroll, and they're going to be able to pay people $15 an hour. All right, so just keep that in mind. That's what it's all about. Making money. That's what it's all about. All right, so that was the story that caught. So we're going to see what that stock is doing. Amazon is another one that's paying $15 an hour, Rob. I know we're not going to, if you put that as one of my stocks to take a look at, James, we'll look at it. Tell you, I'm going to start letting you know I'm not going to look at your stocks right now. I'm not going to even pay attention to them. I'm trying very hard to tell you that I will, but you keep putting them in the room. Don't do it. Please, not now. I'm asking you. I have been asking, trying to be nice. Let the questions come through. Let the questions come through. All right. Next story, and the last story I have, is Beyond Meat to sell cheaper value packs. Woo! Joey is running out. He's ready. Joey is running out to go get these burgers. They're putting them in packs now. 10-pack. 10-pack of Beyond Meat. You getting them, right, Joey?
Oh, yeah, I already got them.
You already got them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm not eating that, because it's like, what? Yeah, I'm not eating that. As much as I've made money on Beyond Meat, I'm not a fan of eating it. No, that's not to say that people in the room won't eat it. And if you do, you do. That's fine. But how about the 10-pack of suggested retail price of $15.99 or $6.40 per pound? I don't do the shopping at my house. My wife does. I don't know if that's a good price or not. Bringing it closer to the price of traditional beef. Beef patties were selling for $5.26 per pound this week, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture's report on advertised beef prices. Beyond's value packs will go on sale the week of June 22nd at Walmart and Target. Woo! Ooh-wee! Ooh-wee! Make sure you go get some, Joey, but don't make any for me.
Okay.
All right? This is where we go. So those are the three stocks that caught my attention. Let's go peep them out real quick. There is Beyond Meat, there is Target, and there is Hertz. All right, Beyond Meat, way over its value. People are willing to pay a premium to own it. It's a hot commodity right now. People are looking at it as an alternative to beef. A lot of meat factories or meat processors closed down because of COVID-19. A lot more people are going to the alternative of Beyond Meat. Target, undervalued as a store, as a retail store. That's not a bad thing. All right, nicely undervalued. Hertz is going into into bankruptcy. I really would not really want to pay attention to that stock. All right, so let's go look at the RVs. Beyond Meat does not have an RV above 1, whereas Target does. Looking at relative safety, Beyond Meat is not relatively safe, whereas Target is. All right, so the fundamentals behind Beyond Meat are not there, but it's moving up in price, whereas Target is fundamentally sound with RV and RS both above 1 and in an uptrend. Looking at Hertz, good upside potential. Just look at it. It's getting smoked right now. RT was way, way, way below 1. But again, that goes right in line with the company going through bankruptcy. Let's go view the stock graph on these stocks. Looking at Beyond Meat on another tear again. And normally when it goes, that's a 3-month graph. That's a good looking graph. Nicely above the 20-day exponential moving average. Right now moving a tad bit sideways. But overall, look at the spike in earnings per share and RT nicely leveling out. Stocks in an uptrend. Whereas I look at Target with the new $15 an hour wage, it's not doing nearly as well right now. If I own it, I probably should have gotten out yesterday when the price closed below the 20-day moving average, 20-day exponential moving average. Watch RT. RT is telling me that the stock is slowly but surely trending down. And price is following right behind it. And earnings per share is definitely lower than it was 3 months ago. So those are my stocks of interest. Any questions, Joey? No? All right. So guess what it's time for? You excited? I don't have.
What time is it?
I don't have it. It's time to put your stocks in the room so I can take a look at them. And right now, I'm just pushing everything. All right, so I just pushed all of the button. All right, I got to go open up my graph in a second. And then Joey's going to... you give them to me, Joey.
Oh, that's fine.
All right, hold on, let me just...
No, that's my stock. No question.
Say again.
I had another question for you.
Oh, you had another one?
Yeah, Leo did.
Yeah, Joey's not looking at these. He's going to have to go back and take a look.
If RV plus RS plus GRT plus EPS are high, it means this is a retirement stock?
RV plus...
RS plus GRT plus EPS.
You can't put them, you can't add them all together. If you're trying to add them all together, but if all of those things are good, the stock is a good stock. It's something you keep in mind. Something that you can possibly look at. Huh?
It's a glamour stock.
That's not a glamour stock.
VST.
A glamour stock is a stock that's overvalued with an RV above 1. That's a glamour stock. All right, RV above 1, but the stock is grossly overvalued. That is a, all right. I can't type any yet.
Go ahead.
All right, let's go.
All right, we're going to do TDG. ENPH. A lot of people requested that.
I know they did. Yep.
John Boston, he put in too many. Momo.
Momo?
M-O-M-O.
I know that.
CLDR.
Cloudera? I know.
CLOU.
C-O-L-U.
CLOU.
I heard you the first time you said it. We don't track C-O-L-U.
Because you didn't hear me. I said CLOU.
C-O-L-U.
C-L-O-U.
C-L-O-U.
Did not hear me the first time. Or the third.
Why don't you speak English? Hold on. Okay.
NVTA.
NVTA.
CNS.
CNS.
You know what? I'm just going to let you read these.
I'm not reading those. That was your fault. Keep it going.
LOGI.
Logitech.
BAND.
BAND. Banda. Go ahead. Oh, gosh. Go ahead. NVAX.
PYR.
PYR. That's almost like Pretty Young Thing. PYR I don't have. PYR. Right?
Yeah.
I don't have that. Keep going.
Lulu.
Lulu.
Roku.
Roku.
This one's 5 C's. Is that a stock? CC.
5C.
No, just CC.
CCC. I got a 3C, which is Claravit Annaly. No, I'm not taking that. Nope. Keep going.
SPCE.
SPC Spice.
Let's do Costco.
COST. COST. Okay.
Let's see. KGC.
Kinross Gold.
SNAP.
Oh, snap!
SNDX.
SNDX. Gotcha.
And one more from Sharon. CDLX.
CDLX. All right.
No more stocks.
No more stocks. Joey said no more stocks. All right. Let's put these on a 3-month graph. Why do I put it on a 3-month graph? Because what happens every 3 months on the stock? Earnings. I want earnings to be in the picture as I look at these stocks. Joey put a link in there for every stock that I did not get to chat in today or that you did not get to put on this list. Go click on that link that Joey for a free stock analysis report. Free stock analysis report. Click on that link, folks. Click on that link. All right. So let's bust a move. Oh, we're going to bust a move. Let's bust a move. Ha, hey, ha.
CLOU. COLU. CLOU.
Listen, let me, again, here we go. Keep messing with me. All right, keep messing with me. All right, TDG, Transdigm. Transdigm. Did I really say Transdigm? Transdigm. Nicely above the 20-day exponential moving average. RT is above 1. Watch earnings. Earnings is going down over the last 3 months. Stock is in a sideways move. And actually, if I look at it, stock is trending lower from the high. Be careful of that. Oh, and look at that there. I got higher lows. You know what that's called? That's called a wedge, folks. Let's see which way out of the wedge the stock is going to break out. A wedge is a level of, what's the word I'm looking for? consolidation. The stock is consolidation into this wedge. Let's see which way it's going to jump out. All right, that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for, and we'll see what happens. All right, so if you're in it, it's above the 20-day exponential moving average, you're fine. If you're not in it, probably not the right time to get into it unless it breaks out of that level of the trend line. All right, next stock. EMPH. There's news behind EMPH. EMPH overall is, they just get beat up by word of mouth over and over and over. I like this stock. I love the earnings on this stock. The company makes money. And if I put this on a one-year graph, every time these big hits happen, it always is a word of mouth thing that makes this stock go down. Look at the earnings over the last year. Look at the earnings over the last 5 years. Look at the stock. These three big pull downs are all news driven. I think somebody, and again, this is just my own theory, I think somebody's got it out for EMPH because as beautiful as, look at each time the stock goes and then something comes along and pushes it down. All right. Right now, not the right time to buy. Below the 20-day exponential moving average, I'd wait for a better buying opportunity when the stock's price goes back above the 20-day exponential moving average. This is news-driven. Some lawyer or something is charging EMPH for something and blah, 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 blah. A lot of people got hurt. I got nothing to tell you right here that would have protected you against this. Nothing. The stock, everything about it looks good. I would have, and I'm a big, look, RT above 1, RV above 1, RS above 1. The stock is a good looking, add RV. The stock is a really good looking stock. And RV, RS, and RT, all above 1. All of those three are above 1. Earnings per share is positive. Right now, if you got hit during that, it happened. You had stops, you got you out. My better buying opportunities and when the stock goes back above the 20-day, exponential moving average. All right, so all I'm saying is you took a bath right here, brush the dirt off your shoulders, get that dirt off your shoulders. Get that dirt off your shoulders and get ready for the next buying opportunity when the price goes back above the 20-day exponential moving average. All right. Momo is a no-no. Momo is trending down over the last 3 months. Momo is a no-no. Earnings is falling. RT is trying to rise with the big move of the stock. Currently still below the 20-day exponential moving average. All right. EMPH, 5,700 million, 5,700,000 market cap. But John, they have a niche in their space with generators and things of that nature. It is a good stock overall. All right, definitely a good stock overall. Momo, though, is a no-no. It wasn't a channel, broke out of the channel to the downside below the 20-day exponential moving average. I'd wait. I'd wait to see if the stock could go back above the 20-day exponential moving average. All right, let's go to the next one, which is CLDR. Nicely moving higher. Love that earnings just recently went positive. Relative timing is moving. I like it. It wasn't a channel. Take off last close. Wasn't a channel. Broke out of the channel. Had followed through. Still moving higher. The 20-day exponential moving average is moving higher as well. I love that. I love that as that stock's price is moving up. I like that. 5 cents higher than the high if you're not in it now. All right. Global X Cloud. Man, this is an ETF. Oh, this is a cloud ETF. I'm loving it. Over the last 3 months, smooth pattern going from the bottom left to the upper right. I like that. I like that stock, and I cannot lie. All right, James is asking about EMPH. I just already analyzed EMPH for you. All right, I already analyzed EMPH for you. Jack says, I bought EMPH yesterday at 38.43 and made a killing. It was rebounding yesterday. I'm saying that if you want more confirmation, wait for EMPH to go back above that exponential moving average. All right, so there you go. I do like Cloudera, though, or Cloud. I do like that stock. NVTA, drug biomedical, straight up in the channel. Be careful with it. It is back and forth above the 20-day exponential moving average, but still in the channel nonetheless. Earnings is getting better. Even though it's still negative, it's becoming less negative. Watch RT. RT is going to go down if the stock's moving sideways. That makes sense. But the stock is in a channel. Keep that in mind. If you're in it, you're going to be able to play this bounce. If you want to play the bounces, you can. Good levels of support and resistance. They haven't broken through. I would, if I'm in a stock in a channel, I'd rather be in another stock that's making money than to be in one that's got a channel. All right, just keep that in mind. Next stock, I like CNS, nicely moving higher. Open candle, even though it's lower than yesterday's close, open candle, red candle, but for the most part over the last 3 months, above that level of 20-day exponential moving average. Watch earnings. Earnings is a little lower than it was 3 months ago, but still starting to rise. RT still tells me the stock's in an uptrend. I would definitely wait until the stock could break above that 3-month high before I take it. Logitech looks good. Look at that equity curve. That is a thing of beauty. It looks just like a 707 taking off. That is a beautiful looking graph. Love it. Earnings is higher. RT is below one. It took a little dip when the stock went sideways, but starting to move back up. For the 3 months, this stock has stayed up. That's a beautiful graph to just look at and wait for a better buying opportunity in today because it's moving down to get in. I like that stock. Whoever gave that to me. Logitech looks good. Bandwidth, Banda. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, no. Nicely moving up. Nicely moving up from the bottom left, upper right. Even on the pullback, the 20-day exponential moving average stayed tight. Love it. Keeps you from panicking. That's why we use moving averages. Keeping you from panicking. RT is starting to move higher again as the stock's price is moving higher. $128 stock, 12 cents higher than the high to get into it. 12 cents higher than the high. And if you're in it, you're fine. If you're in it, you're fine. All right. Earnings per share is getting better, getting much better, even though it's still negative. Negative only by a little bit, about 10 cents negative, but definitely better than being 20 cents negative where we were earlier in the year. NVAX, coronavirus stocks. This is more of a trade because it's a lot more volatile. On the days that it goes up, good day to be in it. When it goes down, you don't want to be in it. All right, that's probably in James. You're going to keep putting that in. Thank you for trying to help me out, Gene. As I mentioned, James, I already looked at it. Can you, stop him from doing that? Excellent. Thank you. I will never, not you just stop me from looking at it. No, I want him to stop doing that. All right. You're not going to do it, but that's fine. NVAX. I would like it better once it hits above that 3-month high. It's not far from here now. I love the RT on it, and earnings is positive. One of the few drug polymetal. I hate you that you're not doing what I want you to do.
He's probably on the part where you asked for the stock to come up, and he's just there.
No, I don't think so. All right. What did I say? All right. My next stock, Lululemon. Retail sales did go up. Lululemon is getting a little bit of pushback on price, but was able to get back above that 20-day exponential moving average. Watch RT. Earnings is getting up there. That may not be a bad play. Just make sure you buy it on an up day. Buy it on the up day. It does a really good job once it breaks above that 20-day exponential moving average to go higher. Right now, it's testing that moving average, and if it continues to move higher, that's not a bad play at all. Roku company continues to lose money. Be careful. They do give you opportunities to buy, but overall, the company is losing money. That's a very risky trade. Even though it's moving up, I totally understand that. Do you want to try to be in a company that's moving up or in a company that continues to lose money? Think about that. All right, let that sink in a little bit. The stock's price is moving up, but look at the earnings per share continue to move down. I love the RT is moving high. I love the prices above the 20-day exponential moving average, but this has to play into the equation. This would be more of a trade than a longer-term investment, okay? That would be more of a trade. Virgin Galactic. You know, you would think that with the launch of American astronauts into space, you would think that this would be taken off, but it's not. Don't know why. Don't know why. Currently below the 20-day exponential moving average. Earnings is not so good. Stocks in a downtrend. Listen, as much as you may like a stock, what? As much as you may like a stock, let the stock come to you. Don't try to talk yourself into a stock, all right? Just keep that in mind. Costco moving down below the 20-day exponential moving average. Stock is in a downtrend. Look at that. RT is moving lower. Earnings is pretty solid for the most part, but the stock from a dynamic point of view below the 20-day and RT is falling. Be careful with Costco's. Stock's officially in a downtrend. Same thing with Kinross. Kinross is below and has been for the last month or so below the 20-day exponential moving average. Be careful with oil. Be careful with gold. Can you find stocks in the oil and gold industry that are moving? Yes. But look at the industry as a whole. I would say be careful with that. Kinross Gold is definitely in a downtrend on a graph, but RT is still above 1, but starting to fall. And earnings is there, but the price is below the 20-day exponential moving average. Snap, I like. What I don't like is earnings. The stock's price is moving higher, but earnings is definitely falling lower. RT tells me that the stock is in an uptrend, in a steady uptrend because of the steady sideways move on it. I like the stock's price action. I don't like the earnings. That's sort of like looking at this stock. Which was it? I forget. The stock where the price was going up or earnings was going down? Oh, I don't remember. Anyway, Snap is the same kind of scenario. Be careful with a company that's still losing money even though price is going up. This would be a trade as well. Strictly a trade. Next one. Excuse me. Another pharmaceutical stock for the last month or so staying below the 20-day exponential moving average. And look at RT is just starting to fall. Earnings is a little better than it was a month ago or 3 months ago, but the price is telling you the story. Price is telling you the story, and RT is giving you a bearish divergence on it. And the last stock we have in the list is CDLX. Yeah, a little bit more fancy, free, and footloose. Footloose. Kick off your Sunday shoes. Thank you very much. All right. It is currently above the 20-day exponential moving average after it found a level of support, bounced, breakthrough, follow through, moving higher, RT moving higher. Watch earnings. Be careful with these stocks that are going down as earnings. With these stocks that are going up as earnings are going down. All right. So with that, I just dropped a bomb on you. And I'm happy. And there we go. So with all that being said, I'm done. Joey, anything else I got to talk about?
When you talk about Female Friday?
Female Friday tomorrow on YouTube.
Is it tomorrow?
It's tomorrow. It starts tomorrow. It starts tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
All right. So make sure and put my chat back up for me. Oh, I could do it myself.
Yell at him.
Who?
I'm just gonna yell at him.
I'm not going to yell at any. Hey, do I ever yell at anybody? Type it in the room.
Get your dad voice out.
Do I ever yell at anybody? I want to know. Do I yell at you? Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there too, Lisa. Y'all got to answer me. Do I yell at you? Yes or no? All right. Female Friday. That's right. That's going to be awesome. Leonardo says no. Everybody's saying no. Wow, VectorVest said yes. Shush.
Believe that?
Nobody. That would never happen. All right. So I didn't forget about band. I didn't forget about bandwidth. I talked about bandwidth. I talked about it. I did. I talked about it. I talked about every stock that was in that list. I talked about every stock that was in that list. Thank you guys for being here. Wow. Ann says, I'm grumpy today. Really? Was I? Ann, really? Wow. Ann said I was grumpy today.
Kev said yes 3 times.
Wow. All right. I'm sorry. Sigh. I'm going to stop yelling at everybody. No, I'm sorry. I'm going to tone it down, and I'm going to talk like this.
That's right. Look.
Thank you. Put some respect on Joey. Whatever. Whatever.
That's right, Ivan.
Whatever. This is that's for Joey. Play that again, and play that one more time. That's for you. All right, Glenn. You tell.
Sound this name out.
Cheryl.
Oh, good job.
What makes you think I couldn't sound that out? I didn't miss Comcast. Comcast wasn't in the list. I didn't miss it. It wasn't in the list. Hold on. Comcast wasn't in the list, was it? Nope. It wasn't in the list, so I didn't talk about it. All right, with that, I love all you guys too. Ann says love you. Love you guys too. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to support Susan tomorrow on Fantastic Female Fridays. You know what I want you guys to start doing? What? At 2 p.m. Eastern. You know what I want you guys to start doing? When we do these presentations, start sharing them on your social media. You know, I never ask you to do that. I'm going to start asking you to do that. Once these go live, start sharing the video on your social media. All right, if you don't mind. That's if you don't mind. We are definitely growing by leaps and bounds. And you know what else I found out? Finally, I've got more subscribers watching than non-subscribers watching, which means that a lot of you have now subscribed to the channel. Thank you for that. That's the first time I've seen we've got now more subscribers watching than non-subscribers. And it's only 51% subscribers watching compared to 49% non-subscribers watching. If you haven't done it already, please subscribe to the channel. Folks, do it. Just if you like the content, come on back. We'll keep the light on for you. All right? Until 6. No, it's not.
Hotel 6.
Hotel 6. Motel 6. It's Motel 6. We'll leave the light on for you.
It is at noon tomorrow.
It is at noon tomorrow. Thank you, Clay just said. It's at noon tomorrow. Sorry about that. No. For anybody who's writing down 2 p.m., strike that. It is 12 p.m. tomorrow, 12 p.m. Type it in the room that you heard what I said. Type in 12 p.m. I got to make sure you know what I said. Type in the room 12 p.m. All right, that means I know that you saw it. 12 p.m. Eastern. Nobody's typing it in the room. Type it in the room. Don't make me turn this car around, folks. Type it in the room, 12 p.m. Eastern. Not 12 a.m., Vincent, 12 p.m. Noon will work too. Good. I just want to make sure I get the right time to everybody. 12 p.m. With that, folks, Joey, did we get 400 likes?
We got 399.
Did you really get 399?
146.
Huh? Oh, 140. That's messed up. I got all excited. That's messed up. Joey was going to come, was definitely going to come on.
I was going to shave my head. Somebody said I was going to shave my head.
Wow. Joey was going to come on if we got 400 likes. We didn't get 400 likes today, so I thought you really got 399. I was going to be like, what? All right. I love that. Vincent says he's in Saudi watching and learning. I'm glad that we have people from all over the world watching. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here and growing this platform. From Joey and I, say bye, Joey.
Bye, Joey.
All right. Thank you guys. Until next Thursday. Adios, arrivederci, ciao, au revoir, sayonara, aloha, salam, shalom, and namaste. Have a great day, folks. Peace.